Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Greetings to all of you and many, many thanks to all of you who have helped in organizing this event. Those of you who have been strategic in the logistics, in the invitations, in putting the program together. And I would like to welcome and express my heartfelt appreciation to all our esteemed guests, our dignitaries, our representatives from the federal, provincial, and municipal governments. Um, our prayers are with you, and we hope that may you be prosperous and successful in all your endeavors. And may the terms that you are serving for your communities and for our nation, may they bring great khair, great good to all of us, our future generations, and may all of this contribute to the prosperity of our nation. It is indeed heartwarming to see the respect and the dedication that has been presented on this forum, on this occasion. And in fact, I must say, we have been touched since the moment that tragic incident occurred, and our minds were reeling with the repercussions of this, and our hearts were broken, and confusion was completely upon us and had encompassed us. In the midst of all of that, thousands of people came forward. I recall that I was traveling at that time when the incident occurred, and I was in fact south of the border. And immediately, the various media outlets started contacting me for a statement, and I hadn't even been fully briefed on what had happened. So the first thing I did was I reached out to my friends in Quebec and asked them, please tell me what is happening, how has it happened, what is the impact. And though I was traveling that same night back to Vancouver, the journey was filled with calls with the press and statements and interviews. And that night, as Brother Haroon mentioned, we got together at Al Jamia Mosque, and we were met by this crowd of people who were just there to show their solidarity, and they were there to express their non-acceptance of this, that we don't accept this. This is not who we are, and we will not allow this to define who we are and what Canada is. And in the moments that followed, beautiful things emerged. Relationships were established. Friendships were founded and built. And as Brother Haroon very beautifully explained, it just continued to increase. And it all culminated the next week for us in Vancouver at Jack Pool Plaza, where thousands of people had gathered to express their sorrow and grief, and to express their unity with our community and our brothers and sisters. And it was a powerful display of love. And I can still feel the warmth of those gatherings and those congregations. Under that gentle, wet snow that was falling on us that night, I mentioned a few things to the thousands of people who were so patiently and peacefully gathered. And I would like to repeat some of those things, seeing as this is an event to remember that incident. Whatever happened in the wake of that incident is still very, very fresh in our minds. And I hope this message will be beneficial for all of us. There needs to be, as the Honorable Minister Sajjan mentioned, there needs to be an action plan. On one side, the necessity to express our grief and to remember and reflect. On the other side, an action plan that will make us stronger as a result of this. In light of that, there are some responsibilities that I feel, moral responsibilities, and also responsibilities that fall upon our shoulders just by virtue of being Canadian. The first of those is that we must learn to stand against the oppressor, no matter where that oppressor is from. We are all from diverse ethnic backgrounds. We all have various religious affiliations. We have various and often differing political affiliations and views. Yet we will find that from our ranks, or from those who subscribe to our views or our race or our religion, we will find those who have sentiments of hate and intolerance. So my first request is that we should agree to stand up against the forces of oppression, no matter where they are coming from, and even if they are coming from within our own circles. Our love for and our dedication to justice and peace and the security of our communities and nation should and must supersede our desire to protect those who share our affiliations. The Quran mentions this very clearly. It tells the Muslims to stand firm, kunu qawwamin, to stand firm as those who testify for the truth. In one verse of the Quran, it mentions that even if it has to be against your own people, if your own people are acting unjustly or in a tyrannous fashion, then you must be from those who stand up against them. In another verse with a similar theme, the Quran says that do not allow your dislike for other people. وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ شَنَآنُ قَوْمٍ عَلَىٰ أَلَّا تَعْدِلُوا. You may get along with some people and you may find differences with others and not be able to get along with them. However, at no point must your dislike for someone lead you to act oppressively or unjustly. If we can decide upon this as a nation, that anyone who threatens the security of our country, who threatens the harmony of our communities, who threatens the well-being of our families and our future progenies, we will stand up against those forces. We will not give them a voice. We will not give them a place. We will not give them the leeway to go about and carry out destructive acts. We will not allow this. If we can agree to this, then this by itself is a great victory. I'm reminded of a prophetic teaching, a saying of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he said, "Unsur akhaka zaliman aw madluman." Help your brother, whether he is oppressing or he is oppressed, whether he is an oppressor or he is the oppressed. So the companions asked, "O Prophet, we can see ourselves helping someone who is oppressed, but how would we help someone who is the oppressor?" And that's where he delivered his message. He says the way to help the oppressor is to stop him from his oppression. So as Muslims, we are duty bound to stop people from oppression. And my request to the Muslim communities all across Canada specifically is to take this as a religious obligation, not just an obligation that comes upon us by virtue of citizenship, but a religious obligation that we should not stand up for dhulm, for oppression, whether it is in a domestic setting or in a community setting or in a national setting, irrespective. We should not and we must not tolerate the oppression that comes out from our own people. And for others, all we can do is request that if they could also have a similar resolution amongst themselves, how powerful that makes us and how powerless that makes the oppressive forces within our society. The second thing that I mentioned is that we should endeavor to support those who are hurt and oppressed, no matter who they are, whether they are from our community or our race, our ethnicity, our religious community, our political community, or they are from someone else. The oppressor is looking for support, and sometimes silence is the greatest support that they can ask for. And the greatest weapon that they have sometimes is that people will not come to the aid of those that they are hurting. But when people are made aware of the fact that no, this is a society that prides itself on helping those and assisting those who are being dealt with in an unfair way, in an oppressive way, in a tyrannous way, and they will not let people get away with it, then it really sort of tightens the noose on those who endeavor to thrive at the cost of hurting others. The third thing is that there's a saying in Arabic that says, "An-nasu a'da'un lima jahilu." People are enemies of that which they know not. When we are unfamiliar with something, we tend to either keep our distance from it and we become wary of it. When that thing that we are unaware of or unfamiliar with happens to be a person, then that distances us from that person. If we don't understand the person or know where they're coming from, and this is a very broad, it's a very broad statement. It has so many applications. If you allow me to give a completely different kind of an example, mental health is such a crucial issue in our communities and in our society. Those people who don't understand it either fear it or they hate it, or they develop biases against those people who are afflicted by this. But in fact, it's a condition. It's a condition of health. It's a condition of well-being. But because we don't understand it, we tend to shun people who are in that position. So coming back to understanding each other as people, where we are coming from, what we are all about, this is going to make us stronger. This is going to reduce the animosities. This is going to diminish that sort of hatred, that blind hatred that leads to such destructive acts. So we understood this. I've understood this all my life as someone who grew up as a victim of racism, as a victim of attacks, of physical attacks, just on the basis of race. And we grew up with that. And there were times when we were afraid that this is what the future is going to look like. And there were times where we felt that people were trying to make us feel like there is no place for us here, even though for us, English was our first language. Canada was our home. That's the only country we really knew. That was the only society we really knew. Yet there were people who were actively not just trying to discourage us, but they were using brute force to injure us, to harm us. And it could have taken us to a very dark place. It could have taken us to a place where we hate society and we stand up against society. But I can only thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He guided me, and as He has guided many other people, and it made us stronger, and it made us search for solutions at how do we end it. So this Islam Unravelled initiative is in fact an initiative that addresses the fact that people don't know, and it's not their fault that they don't know, and we respect that. However, what we've seen in Canadian society is, by and large, people are interested in hearing the other side. Whether they accept it or not, it's another story. But people are usually interested in hearing the fact that, yes, there may be another side, there may be another view to all of this. So Islam Unravelled gives people a chance to ask questions, the hard questions. And we live in a society where a lot of our information comes directly from the media, with due respect to the media. But the media is a place where we can get updates on events, but that's not where we learn about cultures and societies and religions and civilizations. That's not what we turn to. We turn to institutions, we turn to educators. So Islam Unravelled is an educational initiative to help those who wish to understand better understand. If we can engage in a learning process together where we learn about each other, then it will make it easier for us to live together. So again, I cannot find the words of appreciation and thanks to all of you. Brother Bilal, Brother Harun, thank you so much for organizing this in such a beautiful way. I know there are many volunteers in the background as well. Again, it has been expressed, but from my side, I would like to again express my appreciation to all the dignitaries, all the officials, all the hardworking people at various levels of government and from the various agencies that have taken out their time to share this moment with us. It has indeed eased our pain, and it has given us the strength to work harder in the future, to become more resilient, and also to work towards a more unified society and more unified communities. Thank you very much. With that, I will conclude. And I pray that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect all of you, and may He protect our nation, protect our communities, and protect our future generations. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.